Philosophy is the study of general and fundamental questions about the cosmos, about knowledge and science, about existence, values, reason, mind, and language. The father of philosophy is the Greek philosopher Thalis, who lived around 600 BC in Miletos, a Greek city in Ionia, western coast of Asia Minor. Philosophy is associated with wisdom because the Greek word philosophia consists of two words, philos, friend, and sophia, wisdom, meaning friend of wisdom or love of wisdom. Philosophical methods include questioning, critical discussion, rational argument, and systematic presentation. Some examples of ancient Greek philosophical questions are the following. Is there a best way to live our life? Or, is it better to be just, even if one could get away with being unjust? Today, someone who achieves the title of doctor has a PhD, which stands for Doctor of Philosophy. The term PhD is related to Greek philosophers, who are accredited with the creation of philosophy and science. This was the first time in history that people tried to explain things through reasoning and calculation, rather than the will of the gods. These are the top 5 Greek philosophers. Number 5. Pythagoras, or Pythagoras. Pythagoras was born in Samos in around 570 BC and lived until around 500 BC. Pythagoras was a Greek philosopher, mathematician, and the founder of the Pythagorean Brotherhood that, although it was religious in nature, formulated the principles that influenced the thought of Plato and Aristotle, and contributed to the development of mathematics and Western philosophy. Pythagoras emigrated to southern Italy in around 532 BC to escape Samos's tyrannical rule and established his academy at Croton. None of Pythagoras' writings have survived. However, he is most famous for his geometric concept, the Pythagorean theorem, which shows the relationship between the lengths of the sides of a right triangle, a triangle with one 90-degree angle. The right triangle equation is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Being able to find the length of a side, given the lengths of the two other sides, makes the Pythagorean theorem a useful technique for construction and navigation, which is still used by architects 2,500 years later. Although he is regarded more as a mathematician than as a philosopher, he is credited with founding a philosophical school that amassed many followers. It was at this school that Pythagoras tried to find a mutual harmony between real life and the practical aspects of philosophy. His teachings were not confined to the traditional aspects of philosophy, but he included common issues like rules of living and what daily food to eat. He regarded the world as in perfect harmony and based his teachings on how to lead a harmonious life. Number 4. Socrates, or Socrates. Socrates was born in Athens in around 470 BC and lived till around 399 BC. Socrates was a Greek philosopher whose way of life, character, and thought exerted a profound influence on ancient and modern philosophy. So much so that Greek philosophy is divided into the period before Socrates and after. In Socrates' early adult life, he served as an hoplite in the Athenian army and participated in 3 major battles during the Peloponnesian War, at Delium, Amphipolis, and Potidæa, where he saved the life of Alcibiades, a popular Athenian general. Socrates was known for his fortitude in battle and his fearlessness, a trait that stayed with him throughout his life. After his trial, he compared his refusal to retreat from his legal troubles to a soldier's refusal to retreat from battle when threatened with death. While other philosophers were concerned with the cosmos, Socrates was concerned with ethics and how to be fair and just in society. Socrates' teachings revolve more around how to live life rather than what creates life. Socrates is credited with developing the idea of dialectics. This is what we would call today as dialogue. It is the art of being able to argue and debate one another, investigating or discussing the truth of opinions. And it is why he is considered to be the father of the profession of law. It is just slightly ironic that the father of lawyers was sentenced to death at his own trial for questioning the existence of the gods. Number 3. Platon, or Plato. Plato was born in Athens in 428 BC and lived till around 348 BC. Plato was an ancient Greek philosopher and student of Socrates, and is credited with establishing the first university in Europe, which he called the Academia, or Academy. It was a place where students could study a wide range of subjects from various instructors. The Academy attracted many brilliant men, including Aristotle. One of Plato's most famous ideas was the theory of forms. The concept talks of an ideal world of forms, which are mimicked in the false world of phenomena. The phenomena are the physical world that we experience. It is a flawed echo of the perfect ideal model that exists outside of space and time. The allegory of the cave is one of his most famous works, which can be used to explain the theory of forms. There is a dark cave where people have been chained to a wall since birth. There is a fire burning in the hall, which the prisoners are ignorant of. Objects are passed in front of this fire, and shadow is projected onto the wall in front of the prisoners. The prisoners perceive these shadowy objects as reality, because they have never seen anything else. Sometimes if a prisoner is freed, they are frightened and confused by their surroundings. If someone then climbs out of the cave, which is a difficult and painful thing, and sees the sun and the world above, this freed prisoner would then be compelled to return to the cave and attempt to free his fellow men, who would not believe him and ridicule him. In Plato's theory, the cave represents people who believe that knowledge comes from what we see and hear in the world, empirical evidence. The cave shows that believers of empirical knowledge are trapped in a cave of misunderstanding. The Republic is Plato's best-known work, and has been proven to be one of the world's most influential works of philosophy and political theory, both intellectually and historically. The Republic explores a philosophical conversation between 6 men on an ideal state, which is the Republic. That would serve as a template for all existing emerging societies. In the Republic, the 4 virtues of courage, wisdom, temperance, and justice are recommended for a good community, and are among them Plato's reasons that justice is the most important. In Plato's work, The Symposium, Plato describes a concept of Platonic love. It discusses how men should start with the love of a particular beautiful person. In the next step, love is a particular instance of beauty in general, and then love shifts from physical to moral beauty. One should have the love of wisdom as the next step, and finally be able to love and appreciate the divine beauty. Today, Platonic love is known as a type of emotion and spiritual companionship without sexual desire. Last but not least, Atlantis. In ancient Greek, Atlantis Nissos, the island of Atlas, is a fictional island mentioned by Plato in his works Timaeus and Critias, where Atlantis represents the antagonist naval power that besieged ancient Athens, the pseudo-historic embodiment of Plato's ideal state in the Republic. In the story, Athens repels the Atlantis attack, unlike any other nation of the known world, supposedly bearing witness to the superiority of Plato's concept of a state. The story concludes with Atlantis falling out of favor with the deities and submerging into the Atlantic Ocean. Number 2. Aristoteles, or Aristotle, was born in 384 BC in Stagira, Chalkidiki, Greece, and died in 322 BC. Aristotle was an ancient Greek philosopher and scientist who was one of the greatest intellectual figures of Western history. He was the author of a philosophical and scientific system that became the framework and vehicle for both Christian, medieval, and Islamic philosophy. Even after the intellectual revolutions of the Renaissance, the Reformation, and the Enlightenment, Aristotelian concepts remained embedded in Western thinking. Aristotle's intellectual achievements were vast, covering most of the sciences and many of the arts, including biology, botany, chemistry, ethics, history, logic, metaphysics, rhetoric, philosophy of mind, philosophy of science, physics, poetics, political theory, psychology, and zoology. He was the founder of formal logic, devising for it a finished system that for centuries was regarded as the sum of the discipline, and he pioneered the study of zoology, both observational and theoretical, in which some of his works remained unsurpassed until the 19th century. But he is, of course, most outstanding as a philosopher. His writings in ethics and political theory, as well as in metaphysics and the philosophy of science, continue to be studied, and his work remains a powerful current in contemporary philosophical debate. Number 1. Thalis o Milesios, or Thalis of Miletos. Thalas was born in the town of Miletos, in Asia Minor, which is modern-day Turkey. He was a Greek philosopher renowned as one of the legendary 7 wise men, or Sophi, of antiquity. He is considered to be the father of philosophy. He is remembered primarily for his cosmology, based on water, as the essence of all of life. No writings of Thalis survive, so his achievements are not the easiest to assess. Despite all of this, Thalis had a reputation as one of the 7 wise men. He is said to have advised navigators to steer by the little bear Ursa Minor rather than the great bear Ursa Major. He is also said to have used his knowledge of geometry to measure the Egyptian pyramids and to be able to calculate the distance from shore of ships at sea. The claim that Thalis was the founder of European philosophy rests primarily on Aristotle, who wrote that Thalis was the first to suggest that water, or moisture, was the essence of all life on Earth. Thank you guys for listening. For more history leaks, please like and subscribe, and see you next time.